Cancer, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. This is a general reading for the first part of February 2024. And my name's Carol. And in today's reading, I'm going to be using the Light Seer's Tarot, the Rider-Waite deck, and the Oracle deck, The Sacred Creators by Chris Ann. So, let's get started. And what I'm going to do in this reading is there's going to be 3 parts to my reading. And in the first part, I want to look at your energy. I want to look at what sort of situation you're in. If there's an issue showing up for you, if there's a pattern showing up for you in your life that's, repeating itself. If there's some sort of decision you need to make. I just want to know where you're sitting for the first half of February. And then Cancer, I'm going to look at what's coming up in your shadow. So if that term is kind of new to you, if you're new to the term shadow work, I have an excellent video right here called My Powerful 4-Step Guide for Shadow Work. And it's taken from my other channel called Carol Cares. And in that video, I introduce you to what shadow work is, and I show you how to do it. And I offer you a lot of other videos and a guide, and I also give you a lot of writing prompts, showing you how to journal. So there's it's a jam-packed video. There's a lot in there, and that's going to really help you understand what shadow work is and what your shadow is. So in short, your shadow is those parts of ourselves that we've kind of buried deep in our unconscious, because maybe when we were younger, as a child or an adolescent, people told us things about ourselves that were not true. And a lot of times it could be things that sort of shamed us. Sometimes it could be they shunned us. They sort of made fun of some of our gifts maybe that we have, and those are buried in our shadow. A lot of emotions are buried in our shadow, a lot of memories, a lot of, who we really are is buried in our shadow, in our unconscious. And so this channel in particular is dedicated to helping you recognize what issues and patterns are showing up in your life, how they're related to your unconscious, and what's coming up in your shadow that you need to look at and heal. So this is all about healing. It's about the healing journey. It's just becoming a better version of you. And it's becoming the most authentic version of you and who you really are. And then in the last part, I'm going to ask the tarot for some guidance to help you heal that part of you that needs to heal from your shadow. And also with that situation that you're in, that your energy that you're sitting in the first part. And I'm also going to I'm going to pull an oracle card at the end for you that also is just going to give you a little bit of a boost, is what I think it's going to do for you. So I'm going to start off with talking about your 2024 yearly reading right here. Now, in that reading, Cancer, I gave you, and I put those out at the beginning of January, I gave you 12 cards. And I talked about the 12 cards. They represented the 12 months of the year. And so I pulled the card for February out of that reading for you. And Cancer, your card was the Ace of Swords in reverse. Now, if you haven't had a chance to look at that video, I'll link it below. I think I'll probably put it in the comments, and I'll definitely put it in the description box for you if you want to go and have a look at it. So in February, your card was the Ace of Swords in reverse. So whenever you have an ace on offer, and really what it is, it's an offer from the universe. It's a gift from the universe. It's saying, listen, and this is an Ace of Swords. So it's saying, listen, Cancer, here's an offer for you. Here's a gift for you to have a new beginning with a sword. Now the sword represents our mental patterns, our belief systems, those belief systems that we grew up in about ourselves, our belief systems that we have about the world, about what's right and what's wrong, our sense of obedience, our conditioning, our patterns that are showing up for us over and over again. And the Ace of Swords says it's all about finding your truth. It's all about finding your authenticity and who you are. And I like to say that the sword is the offer that says, let's cut through all the bullshit that you've ever been told about yourself, and we're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to who you really are. Because most of us walk around thinking that we're a certain way because of the way what we've been told all our life. And that's not who we are. Our true self is in our unconscious. It's in those buried belief systems that we have about ourselves. And that's what comes out in all our relationships. It spills forth into all our relationships in our life. And this Ace of Swords from the universe says, here's a new gift to get to who you really are, to find out who you really are, the truth of who you are, to cut through the bullshit. Now, it came for you in February in reverse, which means when it comes in reverse, that means there is a resistance from you, Cancer, to taking the sword. Sometimes it's because we're scared. It's fear. And most of the time when we do anything in life, when we don't do it, we don't take that step because we're scared. So there could be a lot of fear behind there. You could fear the emotions that come with it. You could fear looking at your shadow. You could fear looking at, going inwards and starting to ground your stuff and starting to journal and find out who you really are that's buried in your shadow. And so there is a resistance from you in February, though the universe is calling you, is saying, listen, it's time now. Let's cut through the bullshit. Let's find out who you really are, Cancer. And there's a resistance to that. So we're going to take a look at that. That's kind of the overriding theme for you for February. So there'll be 2 readings from me. And this one's the first one. And then about 10 days from now, I'll put out another reading for you and it'll have the same overriding card for you. So let's start off right now with the 3 cards from the Light Seer's Tarot. I'm going to have 3 main cards here. So I'm going to ask for 1 card only from the tarot right now. Let's give it a quick shuffle. And I'm going to ask I did shuffle quite a bit before I came on, but we'll do it again. So I'm going to ask for 1 card for each section from the Light Seers, and then I'm going to clarify that with the Brighter Waite. So let's have 1 card right now, Tarot. 1 card for where Cancer is sitting right now. What issue is going on? Sort of pattern, maybe a decision they need to make. I want to know where Cancer is, and especially in regards to this Ace of Swords that's in reverse for them. Okay, so you got the 7 of Pentacles. The 7 of Pentacles here is showing up for you. I want a card for the shadow, please. That one almost came out. Card for the shadow, please. 1 card for the shadow. I prefer that it falls out of the deck. There's not a million of them. That happens. Oh, that one flew out. Okay, we have the 5 of Swords for you, for your shadow. And let's look at advice from the tarot. 1 card. Oh, this one is another one that flipped up. So, a few of them actually. I'm just going to turn them over for you. Okay, see if there's any others. Okay. And they just sometimes... 1 more card, please. 1 more advice from the tarot. I trust that it's coming out. Here we go. Flipped over. And that was the only card that flipped. Yep. Okay. The 4 of Wands for you for the advice of the tarot. All right. So, no major arcana. So we'll see. We'll see if there's some that comes up in when I clarify this. Okay, so let's have, I take up to, 3 to 5 cards, but I prefer 3. Let's have 3 cards to clarify the 7 of Pentacles, please, Tarot. The 7, we have the we have the Chariot. And 2 more, please. Just going to raise that a bit. 2 more, please. Take the 3. So I have the 10 of Wands. I have the Page of Cups. Oh, the 7 of Swords. So, I'm going to make room now for these. All right, so let's look at the Five of Swords, our shadow. I'm going to have to move these a bit over, I think. Okay, 5 of Swords. 3 cards. We've got 1, the Queen of Cups in reverse. 2 more, please. 2 more cards for the Cancer's shadow. Two more cards, please. That one's come up. The 9 of Cups. 1 more card, please. Cancer shadow. Doesn't look like it's going to flip. One more, please. Oh, that is the 4 of Cups. Right, now I think I'm going to move these a bit over. Okay, advice from the tarot. 4 of Wands here. Preferably 3 cards, please. 4 of Wands. Advice from the tarot for Cancer. We have the Ace of Cups. And 2 more cards, please. Three of Pentacles. And 1 more card, please. The 5 of Cups. All right, so I'm getting, so I talked about, which was really interesting, right at the beginning of this, I said, oh, when I pulled out these 3 top cards, I said, there's no major arcana. And then I said, well, we'll see what we have. So we only have 1 major arcana card in all of this, and that's the Chariot right here. And now the major arcana cards are archetypes of universal energies or forces, changes that can come about in your life that you sort of have. I mean, sometimes you don't have a lot of control over it, but they're just kind of things that are going to move and shift you. And the minor arcana, which are all the other cards here, are really your day-to-day living cards. And it looks like to me, a lot of your day-to-day living cards, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 4, 7, 10 cards right here. So 6 out of the 10 cards, more than half, are cups. And so this looks like Cancer that in the first 2 weeks, and it's interesting because, you know, you are a sentimental card. Very intuitive, not a sentimental card, a sentimental sign, an intuitive sign. And so you know, I'm seeing here that you're going to be spending the first half of February in the fields. You know, you're going to be, I think you're looking at a lot of you're going to be doing a deep dive into your feelings, your desires, your emotions. And so we're going to look at that. I'm seeing a few wand cards too for you in swords. So I don't think I see only one pentacle. And pentacle is all about grounding and your body, your workspace. So just one card with that. So it's more about, I think I sense there's going to be some movement for you coming maybe in the latter half of February. But before you get there, there needs to be some emotions that are felt. And a lot of times for me, I've found in my own healing journey, this channel is all about healing, the healing journey. We're all on it, even though some of us don't want to admit that we're on a healing journey. We all are. That's what life's all about, right? You're finding out who you are in this lifetime. And I find a lot of times for me, in order to actually move to where I want to go, or to have any movement in my life, sometimes I need to go through some emotions, and I need to, do a deep dive into my shadow and find out what sort of emotions are coming up for me to heal until I can make that next step. So let's see what's going on for you right now. We talked about the Ace of Swords as being that, that's sort of that card that's gonna, that offer from the universe to find out who you are, cut through the bullshit, get to your true authentic self, but there is a block there. And I'm wondering it's because we need to do some feeling. And that's not what people like to do, but I'm getting that impression from your reading already. So let's start off with where you are. You start off with the Seven of Pentacles, and this particular card, this individual has, put a lot of time, a lot of commitment, and it's the Pentacle. It's the card about a job. So there's something that you've put a lot of commitment and a lot of time into. And, it could be your job. It could be something to do with your health. But it's taken up a lot of your time. And I think there's a part of you that's looking at it. And, Pentacles is all about the material world too. So maybe there's a part of you that's kind of stuck in a job and wondering, is it worth it? I'm sort of feeling I put a lot of time in this. Am I appreciated? And there's a lot of questioning on whether or not, you want to continue to commit. And this is a general reading. So you're going to know what situation that you're in right now, whether it's something to do with your health, something to do with anything, to do with your material world, anything to do with your workspace. I mean, where you commit your time to. Do you want to continue to do that? And the first card that comes out for you is the Chariot. And the Chariot is an interesting card because people, other readers like to think, well, there is movement here. It's the number 7. Now, I look at the number 7 as, first of all, sort of a card of introspection. And so, yes, if you want to say there's movement, yes, but it's not the movement that people think. This particular card, the Chariot, is all about this individual. He's leaving this walled city behind him. And he's become bigger than that city, right? He's become so big that he's become part of his chariot. If you could see, it's stone-like. And he's actually turning almost into his chariot, part of the stone-like. And the wand that he has is not the wand of the magician, the number one of the major arcana. This is number 7 of the major arcana. And it's not that wand. The magician takes his wand and he puts it up in the air and he becomes this lightning rod. So he takes his power from the universe, and he uses it and it comes through him and he's grounded in the ground. It's not a power that he's going to take and own, right? He's not going to use his own willpower to do it, because the magician knows that his power comes from the universe, and that's where the real power comes from, is when we open ourselves up to universal energy and power. But the Chariot here, there's no movement here. He's trying to make this move, but this Chariot has come to a standstill, because what's been driving your Chariot is kind of done. There's movement that needs to take place, but it's not physical movement, it's the mental movement. Because this charioteer has been running his, driving this chariot using his willpower. And he's even, these two sphinxes, he's probably hoping to hell that neither of them decide to go into a different direction, because he has no reins. He has no hold on him. He's kind of controlling it with his mind. And so it sounds a lot like there's been a lot of mind control, maybe a lot of mind spinning, where you've just been using your mind to kind of direct you to where you want to go. Because I see here that you're questioning your time and your commitment a bit right now into something, and you have these wands that want to come out, and wands are all about this direction that you want to take your life into. It could be something different you want to do, something you've never done before, something that you've always wanted to do, or just a change that you want to make in your life, right? And that sort of comes with that Ace of Swords, that in reverse, where you're this is a 10. This is the end of a cycle, where you've just finally come to the end of a cycle. So you're sitting here at the end of a cycle going, it's time. It's time to take a change. It's time to find out who I am. So it's interesting because, you are feeling that pull to find out the true you, authentic you. But this particular change is not going to come from your willpower. It's not going to come from your ego anymore. This movement's not going to come from that. It's going to come from getting in touch with your Page of Cups. Your Page of Cups here is right now, and the page is the younger part of you. It's a younger part of you, like a child part of you, or inner child. Maybe you've heard of inner child. We all have an inner child. It's that younger part of you, 4, 5, 6 years old, that, and I call this part, because it's the cups and it's driven by love, I call that little part the love seeker. So I see that you're sitting there with a part of you, a younger part of you that needs your attention. And maybe this is where this is going. There's a younger part of you. Our younger parts really are all about authenticity. If you think of a younger child, they just were in their bodies. They played. They just wanted very simple things in life to be loved. And they were very authentic. They were very authentic until people told them what they were like and who they were and what they weren't supposed to be like, do. And so there's an inner child here that needs some attention from you. And the next card that comes out for you is the Seven of Swords. Is the Seven of Swords. But I'm seeing here the swords are, I think this is going to have a clue, and this is your second 7 here. So I get a sense of, for me, the 7s are like this self-introspection, self-awareness. So I think you're sitting here, Cancer, in a space where you're realizing that there's movement that needs to take place. There's a part of you that's saying, I really, And you are intuitive. So maybe it's coming from your intuition that's saying, you know, I think it's time to just dig a little bit deeper and get in touch with my inner child. And but there's certain belief systems that you have here. That's what the Seven of Swords is about. The swords are about, and we've talked about the Ace of Swords, how that's your truth and authenticity, and the swords are also about your belief systems, right? So this particular individual has run away with these swords, and it's very dangerous because if you look at how he's holding them from the tips. Very dangerous. And so you're sitting with some belief systems that your younger child adopted from people, were given from people, and now you've taken them on as your own. And a lot of times these belief systems aren't your truth. You know, if you were shamed as a younger child and you took those belief systems and you shoved them away and you repressed them, and that's what's in your shadow. And those are the parts of us that we're ashamed of sometimes. Sometimes there's some gifts. I mean, this particular card has this fancy imaginative play here going on where maybe you have some gifts buried in your shadow that, you know, you were told you weren't allowed to have when you were younger. And so I'm seeing here like you're sitting here, you know, I'm seeing you're giving a lot of time and commitment to something, but I think you're getting the nudge, an intuitive nudge to kind of, it's time to kind of go inwards. And by that I mean to learn how to ground, journal, and start to get in touch with your inner child. And because their inner child's communicating with you, wants to communicate with you about some belief systems you have that you've picked up when you were younger, right? So that's where you are. You're sitting here with that. Now, what's in your shadow? What's sitting in your shadow that wants to come out here? And I'm going to say right off the bat that your three cards to clarify it are all cups, all emotions. So Cancer, like I said, you are a sentimental sign. And February, the first part of February is you're going to be getting in touch with your emotions. There's a lot of emotions here that are coming up. And they're from that younger part of you. They're from that younger part of you that was told certain things when you were younger. And so you have to start to ground and get inwards and start to figure out what you were told, what emotions are connected to these belief systems you have. The first card that comes out for you is the Five of Swords. And I want you to take a close look at this card. Remember that swords are about mental energy. And this particular individual looks like, I kind of look at this too as like a sort of like the bully card. You know, maybe you've been bullied. You know, maybe you've been bullied in your life. Maybe you've been shamed a lot. If you look at this particular card right here, this is the I like this deck and the way it portrays this, you know, in comparison to the Rider-Waite deck. Because the Rider-Waite deck, these two figures are in reverse. Here you have the kind of like the bully back here celebrating his victory. And this is the victim here. This is the person that's been bullied. And he's usually the one in the background and he has his head down. He's covering his head out of shame. And so this card for me is a card that represents shame. And so in fives, it's the five, and it's all about conflict. And so you have these emotions in your shadow that are coming up, and in particular, shame. And shame is something that is not something we're born with. It's not an emotion we're born with. It's something that's given to us. People who have shame give it to other people. And that's that whole bully and victim. All bullies have shame. And they need to get rid of it. I mean, shame feels like shit. Starts with SH. It just feels horrible in your system. And so what you do is, because you feel so horrible, you just spew it out on other people and you give them your shame, you know. sometimes we're guilty of giving it to other people. And when we were younger, we inherited shame. And if you've been shamed, if you've been bullied when you're younger, you're going to have those feelings of shame in your shadow in order for you to heal. And so the first card that comes up for you, and there's two cards here that are important. And the first one let's look at is the Queen of Cups here. And the Queen of Cups, she's in reverse. So let me talk about the queens in my deck. All my court cards, so my pages and my knights and my queens and my kings, they are all parts of us. I have been doing intensive therapy for 7 years for my own complex trauma, and I do parts therapy. And so what I've been able to do is, through the beauty of the work that I've done with myself and with my own life coach, and I still do and will be do for the rest of my life probably, is I've been able to apply some of my healing, my parts therapy to this deck, to my tarot reading. And so I see all my court cards as parts of us that we have in us. So for me, the Queen represents that feminine side to us. Every single person has a feminine side and a masculine side. It has nothing to do with gender. We all have it. And the queens are all about feeling. And this is the Queen of Cups. So if you notice the Queen of Cups, and she's in reverse, there's just this water that's flowing at her feet. Water's all about emotions. Emotions are meant to flow in us, and they're meant to flow out. They're not meant to get stuck in us. And so what happens is, if we have shame that we've inherited, was given to us when we were younger, we will store that in our shadow. And it's going to get stuck there. And I'm a firm believer that if emotions get stuck in your body, and trauma gets stuck in your body, emotions are attached to trauma. That's where we get these diseases in our body, and anything that hurts us and pains us and comes out physically in our body are emotions that need to be dealt with. And in particular, shame will come out. I've had shame come in rashes on my body, just for an example. Because rashes are about, especially if they're raised rashes, it's anger. I don't know why this is just coming out with, and maybe you're dealing with rashes right now. And some people get rashes, a rash that will come out like once every year, or it'll appear, or often in certain parts of their body they get rashes and they can't figure out why. And these are all little clues to what is going on with our body. And so the Queen of Cups has everything to do with, getting back into your body. And that means getting out of our head, because you have the Chariot here, which is really someone that lives in their head, right? Lives with your ego. But the Queen is coming here in your shadow saying it's time. It's time now to make the change, make the movement to find out who you really are, because the Ace of Cups is about finding, or the Ace of Swords that you have, this overriding card here to find out who you really are, is you got to go inwards. And to do that, you have to learn how to ground yourself, to get back in your body, right? To get out of your head. Stop living in your head. Stop living in your head. You have this unworthiness, this shame that's sitting in your shadow, that's telling you that you're no good. But somebody gave that to you. This person back here, they gave it to you because they had it themselves. And so they handed it to you. You're meant to feel. You're meant to feel every single emotion. This is the Ten of Cups. This is the full set of emotions. You are meant to feel all of them. They're not meant to get stuck. You see the Queen here, when she's upside down, there's a lot of anger, and there's also a lot of hopelessness that can come from this. And so I see you as sitting in a position here of a great deal of unworthiness, thinking that you're crap. I've done a lot of journaling about my own unworthiness. And I've often started as a writing prompt when I talked about my unworthiness. And there are times when I just said, you're a piece of shit. And I just journaled from that. Because that's how I felt. And that's what somebody told me. You're a piece of shit. So I wrote that. I would literally write, you are a piece of shit. And I just keep writing. And it sounded like somebody was calling me all these names. And I know it sounds horrible. I know it sounds horrible. But these are the feelings you have right now. And you got to get them out of your system. There's a voice inside of you. There's a little child right here inside of you. And that's how they feel. They feel like they're a piece of shit. I'm feeling a little bit emotional with this. And it's just kind of, this is what's coming out. I feel your unworthiness. And it's a horrible, horrible place to be sitting. But these belief systems right here that you're sitting with, they're not true. This Ace of Swords here, that's in reverse. Now I know why it's in reverse. You don't know who you are. You believe all the bullshit that people told you. And that's why it's in reverse. This is the Ace of Swords, the authentic you and who you are. And now it's time. It's time for you, Cancer, to figure out what's true and what's not. In your shadow, you have the last card is the Four of Cups. There is a chance for you to learn how to ground, to get back in your body, and to start to feel. Here's this fourth cup right here. To start to feel that shame that your inner child feels. You're the adult now. You're the adult. You have total control over this situation. But it's time now. The universe is saying, here's another chance. Here's an offer. Here's a gift for you to start to feel. And when the universe puts an offer out there for you, you usually take it. You have a choice because you're the adult. You have a choice. You can sit in this shit. You can sit in this shame, this unworthiness, this depression, this absolute feeling of futility, hopelessness, because of the lies that people told you. Or you take the offer. You take the offer that's being offered to you. In your shadow, you have these feelings of shame. And this child, your younger child, wants you as the adult to feel them because they couldn't feel them when they were younger. That's why they put it away. Feelings of shame are big for a child. They're huge. And so that's what's coming up for you. You have shadow. You have shame sitting in your shadow. This is beautiful what I'm seeing in the advice from the tarot. Because first of all, it's just beautiful. You have the Four of Wands. You have the Four of Wands here. And if you look at this card, these two individuals are celebrating. And this often is the card of, people say it's kind of like a marriage card. And in the Rider-Waite deck, there's two people that are walking away out of this walled city. It's like they have freedom. It's a celebration card. And, maybe they got out of this tent and they're just celebrating. And I'm feeling a huge relief and a celebration for you, Cancer, because in your shadow, there was a cup here on offer for you. It says, you know, it's time for you to deal with that shame. And guess what? Here it is. Another offer from the universe. And I see you, the tarot, I see you taking that cup and celebrating. That's a huge celebration for you. If you can commit yourself to looking at your shame, to feeling that shame, it doesn't feel good. But you're an adult. You can handle these emotions. You couldn't handle them when you were a child, but you can do it now. And this Three of Pentacles comes up. And this is like a creativity card, working together with people. And I'm wondering, for me, sometimes this comes up and I'm thinking it might mean this for you, is that sometimes we need help. It's okay when you ask for help. And it may mean that you need to get into some therapy. For some of us, it may be the first time we've ever gone into therapy. For others, it may be getting back into it. Because, you know, all my life, I've gone in and out of therapy and swore that I would never, ever do it again. I was tired of it, fed up with it. I'm done with it. No, I don't need any more. I don't want any more. I don't want to feel my emotions. I'm done. But I see you maybe deciding, maybe I'm going to do this for me. Maybe I'm going to get some help with my shame, with my emotions. Maybe I need some help learning how to ground. Maybe I need some help learning how to journal from my emotions. But I'm seeing you maybe reaching out for help. And this 5 here is a card of change, conflict, but I'm seeing this as a card for you of change. You know, this particular individual is standing here and staring at the 3 cups here, you know, these 3 shameful cups that have been spilled, and spending a lot of time, you know, just mourning and in depression over these 3 cups, and not being able to see these 2 over here, not being able to see that there's a silver lining over here, not being able to see that water. Water's emotions, they're flowing, they're meant to flow. And so I see you as deciding to make a turn, make a change to look at those 2 cups that are still standing there. Life isn't about those 3 cups that have spilled over. Life is not about this shame that you inherited when you were younger and that's sitting there. But I see you maybe getting some help if you need it. And a lot of us do. It's hard to do it on our own. When you really have just to make a commitment to ourselves. And I see it's a celebration here. And to me, that's celebrating you, right? That's celebrating who you are. And you're worth it. You're worth it. And when I started my own intensive healing journey 7 years ago, I've been in and out of therapy all my life, and finally found the right therapist 7 years ago. And yeah, I didn't think I was worth it either. I was sitting here too with a lot of shame. Didn't even know how much I had until I started doing my own shadow work. Shadow work is just getting on that train and dealing with your stuff. That's shadow work. And making a commitment to you to do it. And so I see that as the first part of February, Cancer, very positive. Even though it sounds heavy, but I see a real positive ending for you from the tarot, saying, yeah, you're gonna get on that. You're gonna get help for that shame that you're sitting with. And so let me pull an oracle card for you, just to end it off, and see what oracle card wants to come out for you. Sometimes it'll pop out. I don't want 2, I just want 1. Oh, you get collaboration of souls. Let's see what that has to do. And then we talked about getting some help here. So collaboration of souls is number 6. Okay, collaboration of souls. Your greatest asset is the soul connection you make with others. And those that you make and foster at this time will bring fruitful change to your life. Which sacred unions are you pursuing? Long-term commitments and strategic partnerships are based on trust, love, respect, and an alignment of values. And it's time to actively call collaboration partners into your life. Mentors, clients, friends, lovers, whom do you intend to dance with? You have a choice. And this mutually beneficial union will be a merging of 2 or more interconnected souls who are veritable kindred spirits. By clearly defining who you are, what you desire, and what you need, you will help them recognize you as you set out to find one another. Know what you want and what you do not, and seek an open and honest exchange with others. When your actions are a truthful reflection of the relationships you expect to find, the perfect people will show up at exactly the right time. And I can't say that enough. I'm a true believer in the universe, and once you set your intention to the universe, it's all, I mean, people can call it manifesting, it's a fancy word, but once you put your intention and you put to the universe and saying that you really want someone to come into your path to help you, and sometimes it could be, somebody recommending a therapist they know, or, it's something that's going to help you along the way. And sometimes this is what you need. And I see that you are setting out, Cancer, to collaborate with somebody to help you get at some of this childhood shame that's sitting in your shadow that you need to heal right now. Let me know down below if this resonates. I'd love to hear your comments. And I'll see you in about 10 days, Cancer. Take care. Bye-bye.